We have X, formerly known as Twitter, officially allowing porn on their platform. I'm a little confused. You're going to have to fill me in here, Sam, because I am a sort of a social media Luddite in terms of X. I don't have an X. I've never had a Twitter, and I don't plan to. But it was my understanding that you could always get porn on this platform, correct? You would just kind of stumble upon it. So what has really changed here?
Well, so yeah, technically you could always get pornography. I'm not, I'm not 100% certain what the exact standards were previously. I think it was if things were reported as pornographic, that there would be some kind of shield put over it where it says like, this image displays, graphic content. Do you want to see it or no? Um, and there was, I know there was talk of potentially outright banning porn now that Elon Musk took over and everything, and saying, you know what, this is a porn-free website. You can't post it. If you want to, share a link to your OnlyFans or whatever, fine. Nobody can stop you from sharing a link, but you can't post your, dirty pictures and stuff. What Elon is now saying is taking this idea of, oh, well, I said this is going to be the, hub for free speech. And so I'm going to count porn as free speech. So go ahead, load up all your pornographic images. Um, and what they're doing is they're saying that you can post that, you can share that. What they're asking you to do is, as a user, as a content generator, to flag your own content, basically police yourself, so that they can put another one of those shields over it, where it'll say, hey, this image contains nudity or it's sexually explicit content. Do you want to see it or no? And you can click, sure, show it to me, or you just, keep scrolling, which is not really much of a shield, frankly. Um, and that'll be blocked for users who register with a birth date that places them under the age of 18, or users who don't put in a birth date when registering. X notably has no means of, they don't have a mechanism in place to actually verify your birthday. Yeah, I can say that that I fought in World War One, put up, I was born in, 1901 or whatever, and hey, nobody's gonna check, Elon's not gonna show up at my door and go, can I see your license there? Doesn't happen. And so there's no verification. So really what they're allowing is anyone, children included, to access porn, and they're, to a certain extent, encouraging the posting of pornography, because although it's been there, it's kind of been a quiet thing. It's kind of been, nobody talks about it much. Nobody really acknowledges that it's there. And there have been calls to ban it, to, get it off the site. Now Elon's saying, hey, I'm blessing this, this as my blessing now. So I think that
Yeah,
it's just going to take, again, another space that could be wholesome, where good dialogue and debate happens, and just corrupt it further, pervert it unnecessarily. So,
right. I mean, it's sort of like any type of social media platform. It's a double-edged sword. It can be used for good, it can be used for evil, just like the internet in general. And it also reminds me of kind of the attempt by, various states in our nation to block porn coming into their state. But the way they do that is, I mean, how exactly are they going to do that? It's, oh, you agree that you're over 18. Anyone could click on the button. A kid who's underage could lie and click on the button and say he's over 18. There's really not a lot of, like you said, no one's showing up to your door. No one's the bouncer at the club checking the actual IDs. It's really just not going to happen. X, the company itself, posted this. They wrote this, and you quote this in the article: "We balance this freedom, presumably the freedom to look at porn, by restricting exposure to adult content for children or adult users who choose not to see it. We also prohibit content promoting exploitation, non-consent, objectification, as if porn is not objectification already, sexualization or harm to minors, or obscene behaviors." My question is, who are the moral gatekeepers over at X that are going to determine, oh, this is objectifying, this is not. This is exploitation, this is not. Who is actually in these videos? They're not checking the IDs of the people being shown in the videos and saying, oh, this is a minor, this is not. This, although she looks like an adult. How are they, is this not going to possibly backfire and end up in the hands of children and even adults like, you and me who are checking Twitter and trying to see news, and then this pops up on our feed? How are they going to prevent that?
Yeah, well, I don't think that there really is, short of actually banning porn, like, it's been suggested that they do. I don't think that there is much of a way that they can do that. It's going to be very difficult to police this, especially because you do have those very subjective standards. You have, let's say, one moderator who, has seen porn maybe once in his life, somehow. He's going to have a very different idea of what's obscene and what's, objectifying than, say, a guy who looks at porn 5 times a day, for the past 22 years. He's going to have a very different idea. He's going to see, they can both see the same image, and the one guy will say, oh my gosh, that's awful. I think that we got to classify that as pornographic. We got to maybe get it off the site. And the other guy's going to say, you kidding me? That's Friday night. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So you're really going to have this discrepancy in standards as far as policing it. And you're going to have difficulty actually policing it. You're certainly going to have difficulty preventing children from seeing it and preventing it from being used against children, because pornography is a key element in sexual grooming of children. It's become a key element in transgenderism and in the idea of kids, developing a new gender identity. Pornography has been demonstrated to play a pivotal role in that process. So you're really going to have a difficult time, short of banning the thing outright, trying to police it. And I think they're going to end up wasting so much time, energy, money, resources, etc., on this, that my hope is that eventually Elon's just going to reach a point where he says, you know what, this isn't even worth it just from a purely financial aspect. We're just going to ban it. We're just going to give the crowd what they want, because there's far more calls to ban it than there is to keep it. So I
Yeah.
would really hope that they ban it eventually outright.
Yeah, it's been Elon's sort of long-standing philosophy that he's not going to censor anything that's illegal, but it raises a moral question of, well, even if the country allows something, why does a social media platform have to go along with it? I also read that it's up to the producers of this pornographic content to sort of self-report. They're supposed to mark their own content as pornographic. I mean, can we really trust porn producers? That's number one. And, number two is, I mean, you quoted Joseph Blackholm in the article as basically alluding to the fact that, well, Twitter might become the new primary place to view pornographic material.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really trust them to kind of not self censor, but kind of self designate their pornographic material. But even beyond that, if you look at, you mentioned just a minute ago about some of the states that, you get on a porn website and it just asks you, are you over the age of 18? There are a number of states, about a third of them now, I believe. Excuse me, about a third of states have put in place measures to actually verify properly age in order to access pornographic websites. And Pornhub, the number one major porn website in the world, is completely shut down in almost all of those states. Completely shut down. Not just like, oh, well, nobody can access it. They make their own decision and they say, you know what? Nobody's going to access us. If you can't allow kids on our site, who are lying about their age, then we don't want anybody on our site. We're going to run into the same thing here. Who do you think is running this stuff, profiting from it, producing this stuff? I mean, you're really gonna think that they're gonna just say, oh, okay, well, we'll self-report. Oh, well, I don't want Elon to get mad at me, so we're gonna self-report this. That's not gonna happen. It's going to become, again, just weaponized. It's going to be used to target children in particular, but to target everybody, because I mean, it is a horrifically, terribly addictive substance, you know? And so it's going to be used to target anybody and everybody eventually for some kind of profit, whether financial or spiritual. But it is going to be used to target everybody, and in particular, children. So I just think that the whole system is deeply intrinsically flawed.
Right, as the Skittles crowd is often fond of saying, we're coming for your children, and that's exactly what they're doing.